We're teaching actually based on a passage in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2. It says, "And the Lord answered me and said, record the vision and inscribe it on tablets that the one who reads it may run." Someone eventually is going to have to read your vision, the vision God has put onto you. Because any God-called vision is a shared vision. See, there's no such thing, in my view, about having a vision from God that doesn't involve sharing it with others and getting them a part of this vision. It could be as simple as sharing a vision with your spouse that God means for you to stay together and that the divorce shouldn't take place. You say, well, it just involves us two. Well, it's going to involve a lot more than that, but you still have to share that vision. And what we're going to talk about now is taking the vision God has given to us and taking it public. Because all visions eventually have to go public, regardless of what the vision is. Whether it is a vision of opening up a business, you're going to have to share that vision with someone else, because that business won't succeed by yourself. Maybe it's starting a parachurch ministry. You might say to me, Pastor, I really believe our church needs a college and career group. Well, you know what? It's not going to be done without you getting involved in it. You're going to have to share it with me, and sharing it with me is not enough, because you're going to have to inspire others to be participants of it. See, because every vision, it means you have to share it. It might be sharing it on a platform like this, or it might be across a dinner table sharing it, or it might be a letter that you sent out to share your vision. There's many different ways we share the vision, but we have to share it. And this is what Nehemiah is coming to. For 3 days, he's surveying the damages of the city of Jerusalem. He knows God has called him to rebuild the walls of the city. But for 3 days, he doesn't share his vision. He assesses the damages. He's looking around, figuring out what needs to be done. But we're going to come to a point in his story where it is now time to solicit help. It is now time to call for people to help and be part of this vision. And sooner or later, you're going to have to share your vision. It might be a vision to go into politics. How many of y'all say, I rebuke you, devil, on that one? But you know what? Government is a God-ordained thing. Some of us, we put down government leaders, but see, government is an instrument of God. And to me, running for office I had someone running for U.S. Congress came up to me on Friday, and he shook my hand and thanked me for my message I gave. You know what I told that man? I said, let me tell you, people don't tell you enough, but thank you for running, because it's not easy. I know. It is a hard deal, and I appreciate anyone willing to stick their neck out to try to serve the community. But you know what? No one's going to win unless he shares or she shares his or her vision for what they want to do. So what's your vision? Is it starting an organization? Organization has to be more than just you. You have to share it with others to have them capture the vision of what you want to do. That vision might be writing a book and having it published. You've got to share it, because if they don't buy into it, they reject your manuscript. See, you got to share things. Now, maybe you're not into writing books, but you like writing music. You know what? You might have a hit song, but you're going to have to convince a record label that you have a hit song. You're going to have to convince someone who can sing that song that song could be a big hit. You've got to share it, don't you not? See, there's a lot of things we have to share with others. And it just can't be kept secret. No matter what it is, whether it's raising children, having a strong marriage, having an evangelistic outreach, maybe you have an idea that can reach many people for Christ, you're going to have to share it with others. Maybe it's just a social activism, you believe in something. Maybe you believe in taking care of the environment or protecting the lives of unborn children. Or maybe you believe in racial equality and you want to banish racism. Maybe there's something you feel like. Whether it's Martin Luther King Jr., who inspired people with a vision that all people should be treated equally. You have to get people to buy into that vision. And that's what Nehemiah is coming to in his life. For months, he's been cutting down lumber, putting them into carriages. And now he's made a 1,000 trek journey to Jerusalem. He's arrived at Jerusalem. For 3 days, he's quiet as he surveys the gates, what needs to be done. But the 3 days are up. It is now time to go public with his vision to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. So we now come to chapter 2, verse 17. Then I said to them, you see the trouble we are in? Jerusalem lies in ruins, and its gates have been burned with fire. Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, and we will no longer be in disgrace. I also told them about the gracious hand of God upon me and what the king had said to me. What was the response? They could have driven him out of a town. They could have ridiculed him, laughed at him. Worse, they could have ignored him. But I love the response. They replied, let us start rebuilding. So they began this good work. Nehemiah succeeded at sharing his vision. And as you look at these brief words, and I'm sure Nehemiah said a lot more than what's recorded, but we're given a nutshell. You know, we're given a brief synopsis of what he was conveying to the people. And in it, he shares 4 important components necessary in sharing your vision with others. And you find it right here. And what are the 4 components? Are you ready? Number 1, state the problem. He told the people the problem they're in. Number 2, state the solution. What can we do? Let us rebuild. Number 3, state the reason. Why should we rebuild? What good will it do for us and for the world? And then finally, state how God is in this vision. In the end, all visions have to have those 4 components. You have to share. Whether it is you're trying to convince your wife or husband to come back and work on your marriage, whether it is to convince your kids that they need to go to church, or whether it's to convince the pastor we need to start this new ministry, whatever it is you got to convince people, you need to have these 4 components. State the problem. State the solution. State the reason why the problem should be solved. And then state why God's in it. You say, it's in it? Look at verse 17. Then I said to them, you see the trouble we're in? Jerusalem lies in ruins, and its gates have been burned with fire. You know what the first thing Nehemiah does? You all see the problem? Now, how many of y'all know that they already knew the gates were burned down? They already knew they didn't have any walls. Why is he stating what is obvious? Listen to me, don't ever take for granted that people know the problem. Oh, they may know it up here that there's a problem. But by stating the problem, you get what they know that's up here, down here in their heart. So now they are gripped with the fact that we really do have a problem. How many of y'all know alcoholics? They know they have a problem. But you got to point out, they really have a problem. Because until they know they have a problem, they won't fix the problem. See, and so most people know they have a problem with something. They can see that it's obvious. In Israel, they knew they had no gates. They knew it was burnt down every morning. I mean, Nehemiah's been in the city for 3 days. They've been living in the city. They've been seeing the burnt down walls. They saw the gates crushed. They saw it every day. But here's the problem. Sometimes they saw the problem for so long, they got accustomed to the problem. They learned to live with the problem. They learned to accept that that's the way life is. And as the point person, you have to show the people that this problem can be solved